Hello dear viewers who are following the channel. Today, we will take you to a special journey, a different world in the middle of the ocean, where brave people have chosen to confront wild nature. Choose to live with the wind and waves to conquer one of the most ferocious and precious fish species on the planet, giant bluefin tuna. This is not the story of a simple fishing day, but a battle that lasts for hours, where each fishing line is a tense battle between human strength and the wild instinct of the ocean. Hundreds of giant tuna, weighing up to hundreds of kilograms, are conquered every day by the hands of brave men on modern but equally harsh ships. They not only catch fish, but also process, classify, and freeze them right in the middle of the vast ocean, a lively chain taking place right in the middle of immense nature. Before dawn could clear the fog on the sea, tuna fishing boats had already left the dock at dawn. The roar of the engines tore through the quiet night. On deck, dozens of men were in position. Each piece of equipment was carefully checked. Each reel of fishing line tens of kilometers long was unwound. Each hook was carefully baited. Each frozen bait box was dragged onto deck, a warm-up for a long day facing the ocean. They used a special technique, manual longline fishing, not a net spread hundreds of meters long or an automatic net pulling machine. Here, there was only line, hook, and human power. Each long line was attached with several hundred to several thousand hooks, lowered into the deep sea where tuna often pass. This is a technique that requires perseverance, absolute precision, and is also where the fishermen demonstrate their level, understanding of the current, water temperature, and the behavior of this fish species. As soon as the line was dropped, the sailors began to observe the signals from the sonar and radar. Every flash, every trace of movement on the screen could be a sign of a school of tuna swimming deep below. The whole ship was silent, only the sound of waves and footsteps. Then suddenly, the signal of a bite rang out. The whole ship seemed to wake up. The fishermen ran back to their positions, their hands holding the fishing lines as tight as a bowstring. The battle began. The first pull, the line jerked strongly, the crane tilted to the force of the tug of war from the water. The tuna were not easily subdued. They swam backward, diving deep, pulling the line back, causing the hands to bleed. But the fishermen did not falter. They pulled, released, tightened, held, little by little, pushing the fish closer to the surface. The tuna were nearly 3 meters long, weighing more than 300 kilograms, causing the tug of war to last for more than an hour. Each time they pulled one up, the whole ship exploded. The cheers were not loud, but everyone's eyes were burning. When the freezer is almost full, hundreds of tuna are stacked, marked, and coded. The ship begins its journey back to the mainland. The scenery gradually appears from afar: coconut trees, the roofs of the port, and dozens of people waiting to bring the fish ashore, transport them to processing or export facilities. However, for the fishermen on board, the work is not over. They continue to clean and sanitize the ship. Prepare new fishing lines, sharpen hooks, and check the engine, because after just a short day off, they will set sail again on a new journey. Because their lives are tied to the sea, their sweat, blood, and even their hearts all belong to the ocean. This is not a profession for the weak, This is a world of people who are willing to commit, regardless of danger, and even trade their health in exchange for the true value of the ocean. And from there, giant tunas, symbols of perseverance, strength and the art of fishing, are brought to global consumers, opening another journey of high-class dishes on luxurious banquet tables. From above, the giant tuna fishing boat is like a mobile steel fortress in the middle of the ocean. It is not only a vehicle, but also a place to live, work, fight, and also the origin of all the values that create the expensive bluefin tuna product. Inside the cockpit, the captain is an experienced person, having gone through hundreds of large sea voyages. With a tanned face, deep and calm eyes, he monitors the technical parameters on the radar, while observing the wind direction, currents and very small changes in the sea surface to predict the location of the fish school. Along with him is the coordination team, younger people, working continuously on modern monitoring equipment, whenever they detect an area of water with unusual movements. They immediately notify the entire ship. A series of actions are deployed, changing direction, slowing down, preparing fishing lines, and loading bait onto the deck once again. The men in sweaty shirts stand in position again, without a word of complaint, only their eyes following each meter of line dropped into the sea. Bluefin tuna are not easy to lure. They have extremely high survival instincts. Swimming at speeds of up to 70 km per hour, and usually only move in waters hundreds of meters deep. Once hooked, they do not immediately surrender but often struggle violently for many hours. The first tuna of the afternoon are pulled up, carrying both fatigue and joy. Each fish is like a milestone, a testament to perseverance, and after each time, on the deck, there are sighs of relief, the sound of knives clacking, and the sound of seawater mixing with fish blood flowing down the ship's groove. There were times when the entire fishing crew had to split into 2 shifts to handle the huge amount of fish that had just been pulled up. One group was in charge of draining the blood, cutting the fins, and cleaning the fish with salt water mixed with ice. The other group focused on cutting the meat, filtering the toro to put it in the freezer. The whole process took place under bright white lights, creating a scene that was both modern and brutal. Thick, bright red slices of meat were neatly arranged on stainless steel trays. Each tray was labeled with an electronic label, coded for traceability, where it was caught, time, condition of the fish, fat ratio in the meat, all were clearly recorded. There were also quality control experts on board. They used equipment to measure the fat content of the toro, and used their eyes to check the color. Smoothness and elasticity of the meat. A fish that met the A-grade toro standard could sell for up to $100 at auction in Japan. Such fish were very rare, and when they were caught, the whole ship celebrated. Fishermen take photos, record moments, and save them in their travel diaries as unforgettable memories. When the ship operates for many consecutive days, maintaining the health and spirit of the fishermen is also extremely important. During breaks, they will eat hot meals cooked in the ship's kitchen, rest on simple mattresses in the narrow sleeping compartment, or sit at the bow of the ship looking at the sea, silently saying nothing. Some people take the opportunity to write a few lines in their diary. Others sit with their hands clasped in prayer, hoping for a safe trip and lots of fish. On the journey, they not only face fish, but also unpredictable nature. Sometimes while fishing, big waves suddenly arise. The ship is thrown off the coordinates. The fishing line breaks. And the catch of fish is destroyed in just a few minutes. Sometimes sharks come to destroy the bait, pulling the line continuously. Those losses are not small, but they are used to it, and are always ready for the worst. For them, the sea is never predictable, but it is also never unfair to those who persevere. By the third day, the freezer was almost full. The most experienced fishermen sat down on the side of the boat, wiping their sweat, looking at the trays of fish piled high like mountains. They knew they had had a successful trip. In each of their hearts was an indescribable satisfaction. After being pulled up, the tuna was immediately taken to the processing area on the ship. Here, the team of fish processors worked continuously. The fish was hung on a crane. Blood was drained with a knife to cut the artery neatly, then transferred to an ice water trough to cool down quickly. Next, the workers used knives to cut open the belly, remove the meat, and classify each part: the back, the toro belly, the fish cheeks, the fins, the head. Each part was of high value. The dark red meat, interspersed with white fat, was neatly removed and placed on stainless steel trays to prepare for freezing. The scene was like a mobile slaughterhouse, full of skill and discipline. The preservation technology on the ship was the key point. The trays of fish meat were put into a quick freezing system at -60°C. This place was so cold that just opening the door, thick white smoke poured out like fog. Thanks to that, the fish meat kept its cell structure intact, and when it reached the mainland, it still retained its freshness as if it had just been caught. The qualified tuna will be selected to be sent to Japan, where the premium toro can be sold for thousands of dollars per kilogram. Those that do not meet the standards will be processed into canned food. Or grilled fish, packaged fish. Just like that, the whole day passes in the rhythm of pulling, cutting, preserving. Each person changes shifts continuously. No one is allowed to leave their position for long. They eat quickly on the deck. Take a nap for a few dozen minutes, then continue working. The sea waits for no one. Opportunities only come in moments. If the school of fish drifts away, the whole ship can be empty-handed. That is why, every time the sonar signals, the whole ship works at full capacity. No one boasts, no one complains, because for them, each fish pulled up is a worthy reward. Outside, the weather changes erratically. Sometimes at noon, the sky is sunny, suddenly dark. Clouds appear, the wind blows strongly, and waves crash against the deck. The whole ship is rocking, but the team still works without stopping. They were used to it. Each person tied themselves to the ship's mast with a safety rope. Still pulling, still cutting, still handling fish as if nothing had happened. Those moments made viewers admire their spirit and endurance, warriors in the middle of the ocean. Fish, refrigerated container trucks waiting at the dock. When the ship docked, welding in words, not for the money they would receive, but for the feeling of victory over themselves, over nature. Finally, when the last catch was finished, the line was pulled up. The boat turned its bow towards the mainland. The sea breeze was strong, the sky was clear, and the sunlight shone on the water, sparkling like silver. The fishermen began to clean the deck, wash away the blood, check the hooks, maintain the engine, preparing for the next trip. But in that moment, they were allowed to rest, allowed to smile, and allowed to be proud. Because they were not just fishermen, they were symbols of honest labor. Representatives of perseverance, proof that people and the sea can coexist, not through complete conquest, but through understanding, sharing and respecting nature. As the boat gradually approached the port, the atmosphere on deck did not slow down. Although the fish have been processed almost completely, the work continues to the next important step: recording, classifying and protecting the entire catch. The fishermen carefully check each tray of fish meat, compare it with the fishing log, update the electronic storage system. The final figure